I have known for many years, and that is makeup artist Ariane Poole. Now, she has over 40 years of makeup industry experience. Her philosophy centers on enhancing every woman's best self at any age. She believes in achieving the best you through the right products and expert techniques. Her portfolio of clients include A-list talents such as Catherine Zeta-Jones, Penelope Cruz, Yasmin Le Bon, Andy McDowell, and Iman and Rachel Weisz, to name a few. And in addition to these magazines that she's worked for, she's appeared on TV shows such as This Morning and GMTV. And she now spends most of her time empowering women from all backgrounds with confidence, makeup boosting tips. So Ariane, if you're there, come on down.
I'm here. Thank you so much for having me. That was absolutely fascinating with Dr. Catherine. I'm making notes.
Wasn't it? It was fabulous. I mean, I've listened to quite a number of skincare talks, but I was absolutely gripped. Thinking, actually, I didn't know that. Yeah. That kind of in-depth information is so valuable, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. And for me as a makeup artist and doing makeup, as you know, we enhance the skin, but you need to have a good foundation of skin, good skincare to work off of that. So I thought it was really, really interesting.
Well, wonderful you had a chance to watch it with us, Ariane. So just tell us a little bit about what you're going to be covering with everybody today.
Well, today we're not going to be covering makeup as hiding our dark circles and our blemishes and our rosacea and our pigmentation and everything like that. We'll save that for another day. I want to talk about enhancing our features, because as we get older, we may embrace our gray, as you and I are doing. We may not, but our skin tone changes. And also we don't want to become invisible. And I think that we allow ourselves to become invisible. So I'm going to show you some very quick, easy techniques that you can do to add a little bit of color and just to express your personality, because on some days you may be wanting to be a little bit more demure and not want to be seen because you're just tired and you've got things to get on with, or you're maybe just walking the dog or something. Other days you're out with girlfriends for lunch or out with friends for dinner and you want to be a little bit more visible. Let's put it that way. You don't want to be hiding in the background. So I want to show you how you can do it with just a few products.
Wonderful. I think it's interesting because the translucency of the skin changes through time, doesn't it? And certainly I've noticed my eyebrows will fade, slightly my eyelashes fade. My lash line isn't as dark. But I think it's also, I love the way your whole philosophy is very much about using makeup as a gateway to self-expression, to feeling something different, to just deciding to put on a different face or different character that you might want to embody for the day, and to have some fun, have some fun and play and get out of the old habits of routines that we might have done when we were in our 20s, 30s, 40s. And your face changes, just learning some new practical tools, isn't it?
Absolutely. And to me, makeup is an accessory. It's like you're putting on a nice pair of earrings, you're putting on a little bracelet or a necklace. It's the similar thing to that. It's nothing that you have to do. You shouldn't feel obligated. There's no should. It's something that I would like you to enjoy doing it. Not that you should enjoy it, but I'd like you to enjoy doing it. Picking up a little eyeliner that's maybe a little bit of a blue color, which I'm going to show you, or maybe a brighter toned lipstick, just to make yourself feel great. And we do, as women, have lots of different personalities. So yes, we can embrace those personalities.
Absolutely. Well, everyone, any questions you have during this session with Ariane, please put them in the chat. I will join you afterwards to answer those questions. So enjoy the session. Speak to you soon.
In a minute. Hello, everyone. Welcome. So what I was saying is, as we get older, our hair starts to go gray. We notice that grayness coming through, but we don't notice our skin tone changing. So those colors that we wore when we were in our teens, 20s, 30s, 40s, and even in some cases 50s that we could get away with, maybe are draining us and making us look tired. And that's the one word I think that so many women that I speak with, they say, I always look tired. And it's because the colors that they've been choosing although they're not horrible, they just don't suit their skin tone any longer. So I'm going to show you how to do that, but also how to be a little bit playful. I love the fact that, some days I will be with my MAC and I'll be wearing my, going to take the dog for a walk, and I'm going to be just very light with, a tinted moisturizer. Other times I'm going to be going out with my girlfriends for lunch, or we're going to go to the theater or to the cinema or something, and I want to be a little bit more made up. And I want to wear colors that make me feel joyous. And I think that's, as we get older, that joy, that expression is really important to me. So what I've done is I've covered my skin with my foundation. I will show you that on another thing that we're going to be doing later on in November. But because I've got lots of high coloring and rosacea. So I want to make sure that I've covered all of that. So now I'm going to go into eyeshadows, and I'm going to keep it very simple. Everything I do, I try to keep it as simple as possible, because we do not want to add more things to our sort of what we're doing. We don't want to have a burden of like, oh, I have to cope with something else. Oh, here's something else I have to do. As women, we have so many things on our plates, whether we are mothers, grandmothers, we are working, we're not working, we're caregivers. We have the umbrella that we have is so huge. So I want to keep this really simple. No, on my eyelids, I've got what I would wear basically, which is my crystal taupe eyeshadow. But if I just leave it like that, you can see my eyes aren't really that defined. I look quite bland, and I could look quite tired. Now, the reason I wanted to do it this way is because I was away and I just come back, and one of my clients in America that I was visiting, she had this exact same thing, and I was absolutely astounded. What happens is she was putting her eyeshadow just here, no eyeshadow on her lid. Everything was kind of dragging south when she was applying it because of the application techniques. She looked tired, and she said, and my skin's not glowing. Now, I know that somebody wrote in about glowing skin. So what I suggested that she do, she was using an Elemis product, oil. So I suggested that she drop a little bit of her Elemis oil in her foundation, put it together, and then apply her foundation. And that transformed her dryish foundation to this one that gave her a radiant glow to her skin. So you can mix a bit of skincare with your foundations or your tinted moisturizers if you want to create a little bit more radiance, and it's really, really nice. It looks so good. So let's get started on eyes. And this is kind of what I've told her, because she was kind of getting into that, what she called a rut. She always did this. She's been doing it for the last few years. And as she said to me, the last few years, it looked really great. And she said, suddenly, it didn't look that great anymore. Suddenly, it wasn't the kind of look that she was going for. Suddenly, people are saying to her, are you tired? Are you not feeling well? So we don't want that. Right. So I put a little bit of eyeshadow on my lid, but I'm going to go in with something a little bit bolder. So I'm going to go in. My go-to things are one eyeshadow, one pencil. Let's keep it super simple. And this works whether or not you have a hooded eye, a droopy eye, or any kind of eye shape. The same holds true for any kind of eye color. So it's not just color specific or eye shape specific. It is really what you want to achieve. So I'm going to explain the different eye shapes as we go along, because this is what I had to explain to her as well, because one size of eyeliner or one application technique of eyeliner doesn't suit every single shape of eye. So let's go along. So I'm going to go in with a navy blue pencil. I love colored pencils. Colored pencils are my go-to because they are so easy. You can pop a couple in your bag. You can change it up when you're changing the color of your clothes. It makes life so easy. It's not difficult. So I'm going to take my navy pencil. This is called Neptune. And I'm going to take a little bit of Neptune. Make sure I do have Neptune in my hand. Yeah, I haven't got my glasses on. And I'm going to go along the base of my lashes. Now, if I just used a brownie color, I would look it would frame my eyes nicely, but it wouldn't do the way I wanted it to. It wouldn't let my eyes pop. So I'm going along the base of my lashes. I'm holding my pencil horizontally rather than trying to do this, because this makes you kind of shudder backwards, and you don't want to do that. And I'm using the magnified side of my mirror because I need to see. And then I'm just going to blend that with my finger. Now, the key to this is not going past your iris. So you're going to look straight ahead. You don't want to go too far past your iris because you don't want this to look droopy. So if you go too far down, it can give a droop to your eyes, and you don't want that to happen. So you're going to go along here and just stop there. If you have more of a hooded eye, you're going to do exactly the same, but you're going to bring color up a little bit higher, which I'll show you that in a minute. So let me go on to the other side. So I'm going to do the same thing. This is a bit trickier because I have to cross my hand over. So I'm going to just go along there. You don't need to make the line too harsh, and you don't have to make it perfect because you're going to blend it with your finger. Now, if you're someone who has trouble seeing even with a magnified mirror, may I suggest taking a little bit of the pencil, putting it on the tip of your finger, and then doing this. And you'll get a similar effect. So if you have trouble with this, with your sight, and you're thinking, you know, I do want that little bit of definition, but every time I go in there, it's like all over the place. This is a great way of doing it. Like I said, just put a little bit on your finger and then just rub along the base of your lashes. You can feel it. You can even do it without a mirror. So let me just do that again. And I'm going to just pop right there. So you've got a little bit of color. So that just gives a little bit of brightness. This is great for any eye color. So I'm using a navy blue, but you can use whatever colors. I'm going to show you some other colors in just a second. So then if you want, depending on your eye shape, now if you've got a very rounded eye, very big eyes this way, you're not going to want to put any liner underneath, because what that does is it drags this down and it can make your eye look kind of bulbous, and you don't want to do that. If you want, you can put a little bit of liner just along here, but just keep it soft. And you can see how I haven't gone down to the end of that. If I bring it down to the end, it really makes the eye look droopy. I might just do that just to show you so you can get what I'm saying. And with the pencil underneath, I'm just holding it like this. So rather than trying to go again, poking it into my eye, which just makes you coil and away, you're going to just take it like that and just pop it. And then just blend it really, really softly. And you can see how that just opens up the eyes like that. Now, let me show you. If I had gone, and so many people, I see them do this, and they go along, and they're going along right to the edge. And you see how that's made my eye look go down? Because you're bringing this down. What that does is it just drags the eye down. So I'm going to take a little bit of a white and get rid of that. Now, if you do that, I'll take it off my finger. If you do that, you can correct it. And the way I correct it is with my mineral illuminating pen. And I also do this when I'm doing somebody's makeup for an event. I make sure that I go in and just double check to make sure that nothing's happened here on the outer corner. So if you need to do that, you can just take that and move it out of the way. And so it just lifts it up. So you've moved it away. Now, the other thing you can do is if you're wanting to put a little bit more color on your, as an eyeshadow, you can use a colored shadow. I'm going to grab one here. I'm going to go in with a little bit of a purpley kind of color. This is an amethyst shade. And these kind of colors are really, really flattering on the eye. So I'm going to go in. So I could leave it just like this and then go in with my mascara. Or if you're so inclined, you can go in with a little bit of color. And you're just going to pop that on your lid. And you're going to go on your lid and you're going to go slightly higher than the socket line. You're not going to go in this outer corner here because, again, you don't want to bring anything dragging that down. And I'm going to just put that there as well. And I'm only using a tiny little bit. So it's just a little pop of color. Now, the client that I did this on the other day, I use a goldy tone. So you don't have to use a purpley color. I used a goldy tone like this, which is so, so pretty and very flattering. And I popped that just here. And she said, I've not ever worn eyeshadow on my lids. I haven't worn eyeshadow on my lids for ages. I'm always using a shimmer here. What happens with you put a shimmer here, it brings your brow bone forward and sinks your eyes further back. And that's not anything that we want. We don't want to have our eyes looking like they're receding further back into our heads. What we want is to bring our eyes forward. So that is a great way of doing it. And I'm going to go on. I'm going to show you some other colors that you can use as pencils. And we'll play around with that. So I've got a color here, which is emerald. And just adding a tiny pop of color. You're not wanting to go over the top with lots of different shades, and you're not putting on lots of different colors, but it's a really great way to accent. So I'm going to put a few colors here on, I'm going to throw it away, on my hand just to show you. Let me go in there. But these kind of colors they are super wearable. They're easy to do. You don't have to muss and fuss around with it. So with the client that I did the other day, I used this color here, which is the I can't get my words out, is the jade color. And I used it with that goldy kind of coppery tone. And that looked so, so pretty. And it gave her skin and her eyes a lift, because even though it's around here, it still lifts the whole face without putting on too much. It's a beautiful, beautiful color. The color I was thinking of going for with her was a gray color, which I'm going to show you. But because she wears a lot of gray clothes, but I knew that if I went for the gray, which is a beautiful shade, what that would do is it would just transform her gray hair, gray clothing, gray on the eyes, but with that pop of color, with that green, with the jade color of green, it just add that accent, and it looks so pretty. Now, I'm going to go in with a mascara. Now, if you don't want to do liners, you're thinking, oh, no, that's just too much fuss and bother for me. I totally get it. You can go in with a navy mascara or a colored mascara. They're not the colored mascaras that we used to see in the 80s. I remember, because there was colored mascaras that were this kind of color. No, they're not like that. What the colored mascaras do is they give the illusion of brighter, whiter eyes. They actually don't make your eyes any whiter, but they do give that illusion. So I'm going to go in with this is the navy. You can see it's not like it's not like a crazy dark navy or a bright, bright navy. But what it does is it gives the illusion of wearing an eyeshadow when perhaps you're not doing so. So it's a really good way of doing it. Let me pop that on there. So I'm going to just go in. And I'm also going to say, the other thing you could do is, if you wanted to keep a really simple look, put a little bit of your blusher on your lids. Blusher on the lids always looks so pretty, especially if it's like a rosy kind of color or a corally color. Super pretty. And you don't have to do very much at all if you want to go down the eyeshadow route. Let me just do that. You can see with that navy, it doesn't look like I'm wearing a blue mascara. The only time you're going to know that you're wearing the blue mascara is when you actually take it off. So I'm going to just go in here, pop a little bit there, and I'm just dabbing it. Now, depending on your eye shape, you may want to put it underneath, or you may not. So I'm going to go in here again. And you don't want to pump your mascara. If you pump your mascara, you dry them out far too quickly. So I'm going to just go in there. I'm just going to fill that in. I'm going to look at the questions in just a second, because I want to make sure that we have time for questions if you have anything to ask. Let me just go in again. But with the navy mascara, I love a navy because literally it makes your eye whites appear whiter, even though it definitely is not. And it's something I used to use as a trick always when I was doing shoots and things like that. Or I would suggest to my client to get their eyelashes dyed blue-black, because that gave that same kind of illusion of brighter, whiter eyes. It's fantastic. Right, so now I'm going to go on to blush. And blush is a really important thing. That's the other area, because we tend to go, ooh, we maybe have remembrances of I've got a remembrance of my great aunt in Paris, who used to wear this bright, bright pinky colored blush on her cheeks. We're not going to go down that route. We're going to go very soft. So we're going to go for a pinky color. So I'm using my More Than bronzer as a blush, and I'm just going to swirl around in there. And then I'm just going to add a tiny touch of color just here to my cheeks. You see how that just gives a soft pop of color? Not too crazy, not too wild, but it just makes me look like I'm not tired. And I'm just popping that just there. I'm putting it on the apple of my cheeks and up a little bit, not too low, not too high. I see a lot of people putting their blusher up really, really high here. As we get older, if we put it up too high, what happens is it draws attention to underneath our eyes. And underneath our eyes is the area that we tend to notice the most lines and wrinkles, which we don't want to do that. Also, what it does, if we put it up too high, it makes our jawline look jowly, because it's drawing all the emphasis up here and making this look like it's droopy. So you want to go just in that, on that little bit of the chubby bit of your cheeks, and that just gives the cheeks a little bit of a lift. And even though I'm going to show you at the end, I'm going to take one side of my makeup off to show you my rosacea, because I want you to see that even somebody with rosacea, you do need that tiny little bit of blush just to lift the skin. It's really important. So a tiny little bit of blush, and then we go on to lipstick. Now, you can go for a more neutral lipstick if you've done your eyes, but if you're someone that doesn't want to do their eyes, go for a more bold lip color. If you're wearing those beigey, browny colors, which are so, so pretty, especially when you're under 40, they look fantastic. As you get older, because you lose pigment in your lips as well, they can make you look tired or that you don't have a mouth. And for me, I get so many women saying to me that they can't, they feel that they're invisible and they're not seen. But if you have a bold lip, it doesn't mean to be wildly exaggerated. It can be just a soft, subtle, bold lip. So I'm going to go in, I'm going to use my guava pencil. I'm going to grab my lip, and I'm going to just shush for a minute. And I'm using the pencil all over my lips. And the reason I'm doing that is because, first of all, I put a little bit of plain, ordinary lip balm on, nothing special, just a lip balm from any grocery store or chemist or anything like that. And then I put the lip pencil on over the top. Lip pencil keeps everything on longer. And then when your lipstick fades, you're not left with what I call the clown's mouth, which is that color around the edge of the lips, which I don't like. I think it's distracting. I'm popping that there. And then I can pop on, I like a gloss. I mean, some people don't like glosses, but I love a gloss. So I'm going to put on a little bit of a gloss. And there you have it. See, just a little pop of color, and it balances everything out. Now, I've got a couple of jumpers here that I brought along to hold up so that I can show you the different things, because when you're wearing different colors, now, black is especially, you need a pop of color when you're wearing black. So I would probably go even a little bit bolder on my lips than this. I would change my eye color as well. But you can see how when you change your clothing colors, like I'm trying to do this without dropping everything on the floor. That one's sliding. I'm going to grab that quickly. So here you can see with a gray, you need that kind of color. If I was to hold these colors up and I had no makeup on at all, or I just had my neutral colors on, I would look quite drained. And this is particularly true if you're somebody that's going through any kind of medications, or if you're on chemo or anything like that. Chemo changes your skin pigment. It means that sometimes the colors that you perhaps thought looked fantastic on you, they change color on you because of your whole skin pH has changed quite considerably. Now here's a really nice, like a foresty green kind of color. So all of these kind of colors, you need to have that pop of color, something going on. And you don't have to be a slave to makeup. You don't have to do a whole full face every single day. Just little tweaks here and there. And like I said, it's like adding on a pair of earrings or a ring or a bracelet or something like that. It just gives you that lovely sort of uplifted feeling. And I know that when I wear like a nice lip gloss and it feels wonderful on my lips, or my eyes are played up, I feel really good. And it's about how we feel. We're not doing it for someone else. We're doing it for ourselves, to make ourselves feel good, and just gives us that little pep in our step, is how I call it. But it really does. Now, I'm going to quickly pop my glasses on so I can actually read any comments or anything like that. If there's anything else that you want me to tell you about, please let me know. But I'm going to also take off my one side of my cheeks just so you can see that I'm telling you that I do have rosacea. So yeah, let's see. Let me see the questions. Okay. Amber, you said, are you a winter season in terms of, do you know what, Amber? I never used to be. I used to be a spring or an autumn. And it was crazy because when I embraced my gray hair and when I went through chemo, I changed my colors. And I understand color change. I understand how people change their colors. I understand all of that. When it's actually happening to you, you have to sit there going, I have to really practice what I'm preaching. And I am actually really practicing what I'm preaching. I found a whole bunch of my clothes that I have in my wardrobe that look awful on me. I love them, but they look so awful. So I'm going to be donating them to a charity shop very soon because it breaks my heart because they look. I would love to wear them. So yeah, no. So it's not a. It's I guess maybe now I'm more of a winter. I couldn't really wear black before, so now I can wear dark navies, these bold blues. I used to wear sort of russety tones and things like that. Now the russety tones make me look literally drained. It's crazy.
Ariane, shall I come on and read the questions
Yes,
for
if
you?
you can. So, because I'm trying to read the questions.
I know it's hard to go through the chat, isn't it?
I'll
So
let you do that. Yeah.
I've made a note of all of them for ease.
Okay.
So one of the questions that came up was, you got a big vote for your eyebrows, Ariane, and you've got wonderful eyebrows. And so a few people have said they've got sparse eyebrows. Have you got some tips?
I do. I'm going to take my eyebrows off. I don't have good eyebrows. This is an illusion, and it's
wonderful.
It is an illusion, and I will show you. So I'm going to quickly do that. Let me just grab that. So no, I don't have good eyebrows, and one eyebrow is considerably higher than the other, and I'm going to show you that. Let me just. Now, I don't normally use a wipe to clean my face. It's only for this.
For the avoidance of doubt.
Yeah, just in case anyone's thinking, oh, look at her. She's just listened to all this thing on skincare and she's using a wipe. No.
just for this moment, you're using a wipe.
I only do it for this. This is definitely not my skincare routine. I promise you 100%. Okay, so I'm going to get all the stuff.
Did you use a powder or a pencil normally?
I use a balm, one of my eyebrow balms.
Do you?
Yes. Let me get rid of the red as well because I've rubbed a little bit too hard there on that one. And
So
also,
I've not heard of a brow balm.
Yeah, let me show it to you. Let me grab it here.
Is this something new you've developed?
We've had it for a while, and if I could see where I put it here, because I've just taken all my eyebrows off, and I kind of do need it.
Anyone that's new to Ariane's work and to Ariane, she has a wonderful brand that she's involved, which she's created herself. It's Ariane Poole Cosmetics. So she, is heavily involved in designing makeup that is very practical and user-friendly and long wearing and looks great. Yeah.
Oh, and it really does the job. I'm just trying to see where I put this. I have it here because I actually did my eyebrows before I came on because I needed to do that. And of course, I'm looking around here and I can't see the darn thing. Bear with me just one second. I'm going to stand up and look behind where I am.
No problem at all.
There we go. I knew I could see something.
Rolled away.
Okay, so if you look at my eyebrows, excuse the redness. You can see they don't grow here. There's patches in there. There's patches in there. There's bold bits in there where I plucked my eyebrows thinking that the white ones, I pluck out the white ones and, brown ones will grow back.
Fatal mistake. Who's done that before? Who's plucked out the odd sort of slightly blonde hair on the eyebrow?
Yeah, that's it. I like it blonde. Yes. I know that doesn't work, but I thought, oh, well, maybe I might be the exception to the rule. I'm not the exception to the rule.
I think we've all been guilty of that one. Amber's saying you look lovely, Ariane.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. So I'm just going to get rid of that redness, which obviously that would normally not be there. Because
that's your little illuminating pen, isn't it? Oh. So this is great for covering up shadows under the eyes, creating light and luminosity to the skin. Is that right?
Yeah, and I use it on my sort of marionette lines here, which are my grumpy face lines, because you know how you can. Some people just have a naturally happy face when they're just a resting face. Me, I always look like I'm in a grumpy mood because here it goes down. So what I do is I use this here, like that, and then and I use a lighter shade, and it just lifts that bit of my face so I don't look like I'm in such a miserable mood. Because even when I'm not in a miserable mood, which is most of the time, I'm not in a miserable mood.
No, you're an optimistic soul, aren't you?
I'm a happy person in general.
Oh, yes.
So yeah, I am optimistic and happy. So let me grab my
Karen's just saying you still have pretty good eyebrows even without the eyebrow pencil.
Yeah,
she does, doesn't she, Karen?
Oh, they're not bad, but you can see here there's not much growing here.
There's a little bit faded there. Yeah.
It's faded here. It's faded here. This one, look at this one is lower.
Mm-hmm.
This one's lower. This one is higher up here. This one is lower down there. So it's like this.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So what I do, this is the brow balm. It comes in 3 shades. So I'm going to just brush my eyebrows down.
Okay.
Take the brow. And the reason I brush it down is because I want to get a nice line here.
Oh, I see. Okay. So you're filling kind of around the edges, aren't you?
I'm filling it in. See, and instantly that gives that a lift. Then I brush it back up. And instead of bringing the eyebrows down, because as we get older, this droops anyway, this goes down. So you want to bring the eyebrows across. So you don't want to bring them, and then I'm going to fill in a teeny bit from underneath so it doesn't look like it's too much there.
And what does that balm do then? Is that's like a cream?
It's really thick. You could probably use it as an eyeliner if you wanted to, but it's very thick and it just stays in place. You can even get caught in the rain and it's not going to slide down your face. I do a powder one as well, depending on what kind of thing you need. But I find with the balm, it just stays put. And this color that I'm using is brunette. So I'm going to do the same here. So I'm going to brush them down.
So you would have to put it on with that brush. You couldn't use that spoolie. And could you use the spoolie through that product and brush it up through the brows if you wanted as well? Okay. So everybody, if it's kind of like a pomade, is it?
It is like a pomade, exactly right. So
like a pomade. Okay. So you could use the spoolie if you see on the end of Ariane's brush there. You could put that through the pomade. If you've got a lot of eyebrow hair, maybe you want to make it a bit darker, you can just put it through as well. Does it hold? Does it set the brows as well?
Yeah, it keeps them in place. So if you've got any of those ones that are the wild brows, you know how you suddenly catch a thing where they're standing out like that, it flattens them down. And so what I've also done here is I've gone in a little bit more because I've tweezed about 1/4 of an inch there too much when I was younger and they've grown back in. So now they're back to even again.
Yes. So you're tailoring and putting your product on specifically in certain areas rather than going through the whole brow. You're just really adding in where you want to have the definition and to even the balance out.
I'm not making them up evenly the same way. So for each brow, I'm actually looking at it going, okay, I want to even them up so that they're on the same kind of plane there so that they lift up. So I'm going to put a little bit more. But it's a quick, easy thing to do. It's not hard to do.
Yes.
And that's what I try to do with everything I do, is make it easy, because I know that we have got a lot of other things and looking good is important to us, but we can't spend hours
on the only thing. Yes, exactly.
I don't have hours. I know no one has hours in front of the mirror.
Fantastic. Okay, so that pomade, so there's a couple of ways you can use that pomade. It's long lasting. So using the brush with that small angle on can add sort of brush-like strokes through it. So it's a fairly easy way of putting your brows on. Or you've got a powder as well, haven't you? So if you don't want to use the pomade.
With a balm, with a little pomade with it as well. So if there's a color that, say you don't want to have one thing, you want to be able to customize it a little bit. It's called a brow duo, and it's got a powder and a clear colorless pomade with it so that you can customize it. So
fantastic. That's great. Wonderful. Okay, so someone also said, I have a lot of fine hairs on my face. When I apply foundation, it tends to cake on the hair. I've tried various foundations, but seem to have the same results. Any suggestions?
I know that you can use, there's a rubbing technique to remove some of the hair. The other thing is, it depends on how you put your foundation on. I see a lot of women being told on YouTube and Facebook and Instagram and all that, when they're doing their foundation, to do this. And I'm sure that you see that as well, Lee. And it drives me crazy, because if you do this, you're pushing those little fine hairs up. So they're going to sit. When I'm doing my foundation, I will always do it like this, down. And so it just lays it flat, and it's not going to sit on there. Now, sometimes the little hairs can be hormonal. So if that is a hormonal thing, you can check that out with your doctor, and they can help you with that. And that will help minimize the downy hairs on your face as well.
Do you ever use the Hollywood browser? You know, those sort of the skin blade type.
I'm really lucky. I don't have that much hair on my face. I
Yeah.
don't know why, but I just don't. I don't.
Yeah. I
Where
don't
I
think.
have my hair is here.
Yeah, because the Hollywood browser, there's a product called a Hollywood browser, which is like a little flat, sharp tool which you can skim across the
Yeah,
skin,
it
which
doesn't make you.
removes downy hair.
Yeah,
Huh?
it doesn't
Yeah.
make it coarse or anything like that. It's really good. Yeah, I've seen those ones. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So that's a possible area as well. So we've actually slightly run out of time now, but I'd just like to tell everyone that Ariane, a couple of things, will be part of an upcoming course that will be starting on Wednesday, the 18th of October. Ariane will be doing a session on there, so you can come back and join her. I'll be giving more details of that later on. But also, Ariane, you have a discount code.
Yes, if you put gold in capital letters and then the number 20, you get 20% off of everything across the whole range on my thing. But I'm going to quickly, before we go, can I just show you the color of what my skin is really like? Because I know people think that, oh, you can't cover up high coloring and rosacea and things like that. You can.
Look, wow.
Yeah. I just want, because I know that I see so many women that are struggling with pigmentation, rosacea, and everything, and they go, nothing can work. And hand on my heart, I tell you, you can cover it up and it can look natural. You're not going to look like the painted lady or that really heavy mask on that thing or a pantomime day. You're going to look fine. But it is, you can see it's genuinely there.
Yes, fantastic. I love it. I love your honest, practical, approachable style. Absolutely fantastic. And lots of love in the chat. Really practical. Thanks. Looking forward to Ariane's return. Thank you for a great session. Fantastic. Thank you. Really fab. Thank you. Thank you. So lots of love.
Thank you everyone for watching. I hope it really helps. If you've got any questions, just ask Lee and she can ask me. Thank you so much.
Yes, absolutely. Yes, lots of hearts coming in. Love that, Ariane. Thank you so much. Thank you. So we will get, Ariane will be coming back. More information will be announced as to Ariane's return date. Enjoy the discount code, everybody. And I will also put that in the community group. Ariane, well, how long is that discount code going to last? I can't remember.
I think the 15th of November.
15th November, fantastic.
A lot of time. You don't have to make a decision right away.
Brilliant, wonderful. Ariane, thank you so much. And I will speak to you very soon.